Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to read it for you. It's been reported now, which is probably nonsense, that President Trump has planned an elaborate send-off with a red carpet and a whole bunch of, maybe a flyover of jets. Who knows? Who knows if this is true or not? I'm going to read you. Inauguration day, Trump planning elaborate send-off. Trump to leave Washington the morning of Biden's inauguration. And President Donald Trump will leave Washington next Wednesday morning, just before President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration, to begin his post-presidential life in Florida. Now, I think that President Trump, and I've stated this the past two segments, should attend the inauguration. I think that he should call Biden. I think that he should do those things for the reasons I stated in the prior segments. So check out the segment prior to this one. It's going viral. Check out the last two segments. Hit subscribe to this channel because I'm going to give you information that you need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to regain political power, or do you want to believe that everything's going to be okay and then just deal with the reality that not everything's going to be okay? You have to you have to work to ensure success. You can't just simply trust that things will work out. You got to be positive. You got to have, an optimistic view of life. But optimism without hard work, without preparation, without some kind of plan for the future, without any strategy, leads to disappointment. So, the past couple of months, President Trump could have created a national dialogue. I was calling for that the past couple of months. I said his legal team should have gone on Joe Rogan, Tim Pool, all the major channels should have gone on MSNBC and CNN. They did not create a national dialogue. Now, voices are being not only suppressed, people are being erased from history. This is not how President Trump, with all of his accomplishments, should have gone out. Now Pence is taking, and honestly, there's no reason to dislike Pence. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Get this segment viral. There's no reason to dislike Pence. You think there's a reason to dislike Pence? Why? Because he's a politician? President Trump played in the World Series, okay? And there were a lot of things that he did to just create his own rules, and that's good. He played in the World Series, he played baseball, and he said, you know what, I'm going to tackle you, or I'm going to utilize some tactics or some strategies from football and hockey, and, maybe I'll be a sledgehammer or I'll be a bulldozer, and if I'm heading towards first, I'll tackle the first baseman. Why not? Sometimes you see that. Very rarely. It's like the two people collide. And so what he did is he tried to merge different sports within one sport. That's the analogy I can use. It's like people say, well, why are you using sports analogies? Because what President Trump did is he said, okay, I want to go ahead. I want to win the World Series. He won the World Series. But the World Series lasted for 4 years. So he got the championship. He won the title, the World Championship. He got the World Series ring. And for the past 4 years, he's been playing a different game. You have to be diplomatic. You have to be diplomatic. At least pick and choose the spots where you're diplomatic. I don't know if I'm getting my point across. I'm probably not. But if you go into politics and you transform the way politics is done to a certain extent, and you're successful, okay, so you win the World Series by utilizing football plays or hockey plays. And what was the joke? I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. So, generally football is not a sport of combat. Generally baseball, what did I say? Generally baseball is not a sport of combat. 60 feet 6 inches, you 3 strikes and you're out. What President Trump did, he said, you know what, if they throw to first to get me out, I'm just going to tackle the first baseman. Now that can work, or I'm going to collide into the first baseman. Usually it doesn't happen. I know that people are like, what are you talking about? What he was able to do is change politics, alter politics, and utilize his unique brand, his unique personality to tell the truth in many cases, the truth that they didn't want to hear. But what I'm trying to say is that this is a political game. He's playing a game, and he's utilized his own rules for a little bit too long. And it would actually be a good thing. It would actually be a good thing if he just threw them a curveball. Said, okay, you know what? I'll deal with the umpire's bad call. That's what I'm trying to say. Instead of tackling the umpire the way a linebacker would tackle a running back, or the way a defenseman would, body check an opposing hockey player. What he should do is just play the game for the next 3-4 days. He wanted to play in the World Series of politics. He won the World Series, but every year was a World Series. So this last year, he didn't want to play by the rules. And that's fine, but at a certain point, it behooves you to here and there play by the rules, even if the umpires, aren't seeing what you're seeing, or completely just, are doing their own thing. Now, Trump to leave Washington on morning of Biden's inauguration. Okay, so they're saying that, like, red carpet, color guard, military band, and even a 21-gun salute. I don't even know. According to a person familiar with what's the point of this? Even it's probably not true, but let's say it is. Let's say some of it's true. After all the accomplishments President Trump has presided over, what's the point of this? He should bask in the glory of accomplishments. I know the past 7 minutes I'm all over the place, and people are like, what are you talking about? What are you trying to say? President Trump wanted to play the game of politics. He won. He was president for 4 years. He won. He defeated a lifelong politician in Clinton. He shocked the world. He became heavyweight champ. He became World Series champion. He got that Super Bowl ring. But then he said, okay, well, instead of boxing, I want to, start engaging in MMA. Instead of football, I want to play rugby. Instead of baseball, I want to play cricket. Instead of tennis, I want to play badminton. Oh, instead of all of these, instead of the game that he decided to play, instead of the game that he set out to play, he started playing a completely different game. That's my point. It's not actually too late. Yeah, of course I keep saying this the past couple of segments. That's why they're going viral. That's why they're doing well. Or not viral, but at least extremely well. Because it's a unique viewpoint. President Trump shouldn't have gone out this way. He shouldn't have gone out this way. First president to step foot in North Korea, allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever. Democrats didn't do that. Signed prison reform. Democrats didn't do that. Reversed U.S. foreign policy, set the groundwork to bring Americans home. Democrats didn't do that. They want Americans to stay in counterinsurgency conflicts forever. Renegotiated NAFTA into the USMCA. Presided over the Abraham Accords. And, peace between Israel, UAE, Bahrain, Morocco. These are paradigm-changing accomplishments that Democrats don't care about, media doesn't care about. But they're absolutely, if Biden had done those things, or Clinton, or President Obama, you would never hear the end of it. You would never hear the end of it. They're going to view this as yet another defeat for President Trump. He needs to swallow his pride and say, okay, I'm going to hang out, or I'm going to, take place in a ceremony that I think is that I don't want to be a part of. But I'm going to do it for 74 million supporters of President Trump, of my supporters. I'm going to do it for the future. I'm going to do it to elevate what I've already created, to ensure that no matter what they do, they can silence me on Twitter, they could ban me on Twitter or Facebook, they could do all those things. But if you're President Trump, he needs to say, but they're always going to be reminded that I was there at the inauguration. That I did call Biden. There's no political utility. This is what I'm trying to say. What is the political utility at this moment? There should have been a national dialogue. There should have been a national discussion, a national debate. There should have been ideas that if Democrats or media didn't want to hear those ideas, if they claimed they were baseless, there should have been still a push to get those ideas heard. Now, because of what took place in Washington, voices are being erased from history, silenced, emotions are being suppressed, and Democrats think they've won. And now President Trump has allowed Pence to take the glory. Like Pence can, and I don't blame Pence. People say, oh, he stabbed President Trump in the back. Well, it's like, yeah, he's a politician. What do you expect? If you surround yourself with scorpions and great white sharks and piranha, what do you expect? These people are not like, best friends forever. These are politicians. They're doing things for themselves always. And if it happens to coincide with the country, great, President Trump does love the country. But but nobody sees that because media has completely taken any negative qualities he has as a human being and amplified them to overshadow his grandiose accomplishments. They say President Obama is a fantastic human being. Okay, well then ask the people of Libya. They say Bush is a good person at least. Well then ask all the countries that Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld. I mean, if you want to say that it's if Democrats want to play that game, then all the Lincoln Project people who now work for liberal publications, who were part of selling and marketing never-ending wars and counterinsurgency conflicts, do they have the lives lost on their hands? Are they directly responsible for countries becoming failed states? The millions upon millions of lives ruined and lost, and suffering and sorrow, and PTSD and all of it. Are they responsible? The Lincoln Project writers who pushed for all of this responsible? Are they culpable? Should they be shunned by society? Because that's what they're all doing to President Trump and everyone who worked with President Trump. And Trump is allowing them to do that. Because he's allowing them to engage in this flawed logic they don't utilize against themselves. I told you, but if you sat through at least like 7 minutes of my nonsense, by 13 minutes you'll get something good. So, I mean, if you go to play a game, if you want to bend the rules or, transform the game a little bit, fine. But at the end of the day, you're still playing baseball. You're still playing football. You're still playing hockey. You can't win the Stanley Cup and then say, you know what, we're not gonna play on ice anymore. It's like, well, that's not the way it works. President Trump won the greatest prize in political history, becoming president of the United States of America. And he said, you know what, I'm just gonna continue with the same formula, but see, the formula changed a bit. In 2016 and 2015, he went on CNN and MSNBC, and he went Morning Joe. I think he was on Morning Joe. He was everywhere, and they were petulant, and they mocked him, they denigrated him. He didn't care. He was calm, cool, and collected. And he didn't do that the past couple of months. Every time he kind of tried to reach out, whether it's Jonathan Swan at Axios or whatever, he let the petulant journalists get to him. He wasn't as calm, cool, or collected. He is now incapable of communicating his thoughts to people who just want his downfall. That is understandable, but also it's something he has to overcome. He's in politics now. Politics is a game where everyone around you, even your own political side, will always do whatever's in their self-interest, and that's it. And if their self-interest correlates with your self-interest, fine. They'll make momentary alliances, just like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, whatever. Any Shakespearean tragedy. It's just he's not like, you can't expect loyalty from Pence when Pence has his own political objectives in mind, and President Trump should understand that. So he should have always said, okay, well, I'm going to act with the knowledge that there are certain people around me have certain limits. And so whereas it would be nice that Pence, defends President Trump, in reality, Trump knew what he was getting with Pence. So you can't say that he was blindsided or he didn't, he knew what he was getting. The entire Republican Party turned against him at one point with Paul Ryan and Jeff Sessions. Who do you think's telling you to trust Jeff Sessions? Almost certainly Democratic operatives. But I don't think that he should go out this way with his own party. Like, red carpet and all that. He shouldn't do that. He should go out in a way that Democrats aren't expecting, in calling Joe Biden to congratulate, going to the inauguration, play the game, because there's political utility in that. My God Almighty! Don't say you want to win the World Series, and then put football pads on. It makes no sense. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I'll be back later.